Depending on when you watch this video, you might have seen the news about the conflict between Israel and Hamas. You might have seen the cruel killings of innocent civilians by a group called Hamas in Palestine. These groups are called freedom fighters in the Arab world, but outside the Arab world, the question arises whether these groups are actually freedom fighters or terrorist groups. How can a group labeled as freedom fighters viciously attack innocent civilians, killing and beheading babies, be labeled as freedom fighters? This group viciously puts terror in the heart of their victims. These groups can therefore not be labeled as freedom fighters but as terrorist groups. The conflict between Israel and Palestine has been ongoing since Israel was formed as a state in 1948. Palestinians refuse to accept Israel as the rightful owner of the land. They therefore want Israel to leave the land. This is the reason behind all these conflicts. The debate has been ongoing for a long time. There have even been numerous debates between Muslims and Jews. Muslims always say that Israelis took their land, and Israel says the land belongs to them and they are the rightful owners from biblical time. Let's now do an in-depth study and see who the land of Israel belongs to. There will be no partiality here. We will present the real facts and the real truth. Then you'll find out that the land of Israel belongs to the Jews and not to the Palestinians. If you read the Bible, you already know that the land of Israel belongs to the Jews. That is not even debatable. But let's leave the Bible aside for now. Let's look at this from the Quran. By taking the source from the Quran, Muslims will stop saying the land belongs to the Palestinians. This is because if they claim this, that means they are saying their Quran is lying and their Quran, which is their holy book, is wrong. This may be shocking to some Muslims who are unaware that the Quran actually says the land of Israel belongs to the Jews. Let's read what the Quran says. Surah chapter 5 ayah 20 to 26, or Surah chapter 5 verse 20 to 26. And when Moses said to his people, O my people, remember the grace of Allah on you when he made prophets among you. And, O my people, enter the holy land which Allah has prescribed for you, and do not turn away your back, so you will be turned back as losers. They said, O Moses, surely in it are giant people, and surely we will not enter it until they come out of it. So, if they come out of it, so surely we will enter. Then said two men among the fearers, Allah was gracious above them, entered on them the door. So when you enter, so surely you will be victorious in Allah, so dependable if you were believers. They said, O Moses, surely we will never enter it as long as they are in it. So go you and your Lord, so engage in war. Surely we are seated down here. He said, My Lord, surely I do not own anything except myself and my brother. So differentiate between us and the transgressing people. He said, So surely in it, that is the promised land, is forbidden to them 40 years. They will be lost on the earth. So do not grieve on the transgressing people. So this is according to Osama Dadok translation. Now, what did you notice from this? Let's study to understand each verse. In verse 20, we see that the Jews are God-chosen people. This is also stated in the Bible, and it is well known that the Jews are the chosen people of God. This is not even debatable. In verse 21, Allah told the Jews to war against the inhabitants of the land and take the land. He told them it was compulsory that they engage in war against the inhabitants of the land, and if they refuse, he would punish them. Let's see what happens in verse 22. In verse 22, the Jews refused to enter and engage in war with the inhabitants of the land. They complained about the giants living in the land. So, because of these giants, the Jews refused to engage in war with the inhabitants of the land. In verse 23, two Jews agreed to wage war with the inhabitants of the land. This made Allah happy and pleased. According to verse 24, apart from these two individuals or these two Jews, all Jews still refused to engage in war. They then told Moses to go with his Lord and engage war with the inhabitants of the land, but they will stay behind. In verse 25, Allah then passed judgment against the Jews for refusing to engage in war with the inhabitants of the land. He called them transgressing people. Finally, in verse 26, Allah was so angry, he then punished the Jews by allowing them to wander around the desert for 40 years. Now, from everything you understand from these verses, it is clear that the Quran identifies these people living in the land as giants, and it is pretty obvious that these same giants are not the same Palestinians we see today. This is because Palestinians are not tall, but they are short and average size. With this being said and understood, who are the present-day Palestinians? Where do they come from? These Palestinians are Muslims who entered the land with Umar bin Khattab in 717 AD. So for reference, you can read the part of Umar. Will you even say Yasser Arafat, the chairman of the Palestine Liberation Organization from 1964 to 2004, who was from Palestine, is a descendant of these giants? Certainly not. He's not even 5 feet tall. Moreover, have you ever asked why Allah even chose this land and called it the promised land when no prophet lived in this land at that time? He wanted the Jews to take over the land. When you see what the Quran teaches, Allah wanted Israel to occupy the land forcefully and not peacefully. This is not my saying, it is clearly written in your Quran. Yet, today, Muslims claim it is a crime for Israel to occupy the land and that the land belongs to the Palestinians. If the Muslims says it is wrong for Israel to occupy the land, then they are therefore saying their God Allah is wrong, and I am sure Muslims are refusing to accept that Allah is wrong. So where do you stand now? For your information, Allah never mentioned Palestine in the Quran. Why is it so? Is Allah short of information? The reason for this is because Allah is a false God who has no knowledge. If Allah was the true God, he would have known that giving the land would be a big mistake, and this will lead to an endless war lasting to this day. Allah didn't even know Muslims would occupy the land today. This not only makes Allah a false God, but also makes the land belong to the Jews. Therefore, everything we have seen so far is what the Quran says. So, for Muslims out there, it is either you reject the Quran, reject what Allah says, or accept that the land belongs to Israel, which is already known from the Bible.